Hey y'all, I'm Ashley, and I done recorded one video today, so I'm on to my second. The first was best books, and this is my least favorite books of 2019. I won't say worst, because what works for me doesn't always work for you, and what works for you doesn't always work for me, and we all have different opinions, and that's great and wonderful. So and some of these things I'll talk about why they don't work for me and why they might work for you. But anyways, on to the books. The first two actually I read in January, and there's only 5 on this list, real short, is To Say Nothing of the Dog by Connie Willis. I'm still gonna try to put a cover over here if I can. I did not like this because it was a time travel novel. It's a sequel on top of that. It was recommended to me by somebody, and I wanted to read it because I wanted to like it, of course, and I didn't. I don't like time travel. There's very rarely going to be a book on here that you see that I love that's time travel. I think the only one that I've ever read that I really like is The Ship Beyond Time, but this just didn't work. It was supposed to be a comedy, and I didn't find it funny. And maybe that's because I didn't read the source material that it's based off of, which I don't even remember. And it's an old novel, or older. It's backlist. So, I mean, you're probably not going to read it if you haven't already. But it's just not for me. Second was Cherry by Nico Walker. Now, this is kind of autobiographical, but it's fiction about a guy who sells drugs, and it's written like the guy would talk to you. And of course, that guy that wrote it, Nico Walker, is in prison, or he was, I don't know anymore, and he wrote it while in prison for, drug charges. So I'm not saying it's bad, I'm just saying I did not like the writing style. It did not work for me. It might work for you. They call this one of the first fictional books based on the drug epidemic. That's valid. I didn't like it. It's not a bad book. It's just not for me. 3, why I don't like this book, I'll explain in one picture. Why is it so long? The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon is insanely long, unnecessarily long, and I read all of it. There's 830 pages in this book. It's a chunker. I feel like you could injure somebody if you threw it out the window. I mean, it's got what's not to love. There's dragons, there's court intrigue. It's one of the only books I would put in the like Game of Thrones group that actually kind of fits, but it's not like Game of Thrones. I'm not saying that, but some of the elements, like the dragons, the magic, the court intrigue of it has, same elements, but this less rape, no incest, so it's not, I'm not comparing the two. It's a good story. If she would have cut like 400 pages out of it. I didn't feel like it was going anywhere. It took forever to get anywhere in this book. Anywhere. And so I didn't love it because it took forever for me to read it, because half of it didn't matter. Not for me. I mean, I love the dragons. I love the magic. There's a romance. It has all these things that I love, and it was way too long. So, I mean, if it works for you, go for it. Number 4 is To Be Taught If Fortunate by Becky Chambers. Now, I love Becky Chambers' Wayfarer series. A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet is the first one. I love that series to death. I did not like this. It's super short. It's a novella, and but I felt like it had no ending. You're off in space, and that's just it. I felt like no real point to this story. I read it. That's all I can say about it. I love Becky Chambers' writing. It's not bad writing. She told a very good story. I just hated the ending. That's all I've got about that one. And then last, just another one I don't have the book for because I gave it away, called The 10th Girl by Sarah Faring, set in Argentina during the revolution, kind of in the 70s, but also there's time swaps. It goes from the revolution in the 70s to now, based in a boarding school like off on an island, and there's a ghost. It's supposed to be spooky and scary, but there's a twist ending and I hated it. And part of that is because I got spoiled for the twist ending before I finished the book, but even if I wouldn't have been spoiled for it, I still would have hated it. I just didn't like the twist. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but let's just say it's not as spooky as what it's supposed to be. It just it frustrated me to death. So, not for me. And those are the 5 books I have on my list. I have had a pretty good reading year this year. I've read 150 something books now. It's out of all that, if that's just what I didn't like or didn't care for, I'll take it. So, thanks for watching, y'all. Bye.